So it's the Prospect Academy podcast today. It's Sunday, the 19th of May. And yeah, we're going to try and make this a bit more of a regular thing. We want to get some more guests on and basically just talk about everything that we've been doing and everything that we've got planned for the Academy. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing.
Just you and me today, baby.
Just me, just you and I. So it's me, Big Ben, which is kind of like your host, and we've got Nathaniel Wood, future UFC champion in the featherweight division, coming up. But yeah, let's just talk about like what's been happening. Obviously, you've just had a child, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Arla, her name is, right?
Yep.
So how did all that go? What was the deal around that?
So, well, if I'm honest, mate, without going into too much detail, it's been a bit of a roller coaster few months, you know. I think on one of the interviews I've done before, I've mentioned, my she had something called CDH, which is a hernia in her diaphragm while she's in, obviously, my wife's belly. And what it meant is that her intestines, her spleen, and a bit of her liver had pushed up and they were basically on where her lung is. So her lung wasn't able to develop properly. So as soon as she was born, we had, I think, 2 days for her to just kind of, be strapped up to oxygen and for her vitals to kind of be normal. Then she had an operation. They pulled everything down, stitched it up, and that was probably the worst day of my life, seeing my daughter be wheeled off into an operation and not being able to go in there with her.
How old was she when this?
2 days old.
2 days.
Yeah, and that killed me, mate, because obviously, I guess anyone that hasn't got children it's obvious, when you have children, you're obviously going to feel a certain way about them, that you're going to have a love for them like you haven't got for anything else. But then not being able to do anything for that person that you love is horrendous. All I wanted to do was take her place and say, look, I'll do it, you stay back. But I can't. So obviously I had to put my trust in the doctors at St. George's, who have been amazing. The doctors there are really, really good. So I was walking around hospital for about 4 hours, just not knowing what's going on, and probably the scariest, worst day of my life. And then eventually my wife rang me and said, look, the doctor's just come up, she's out, she's good. And that was almost the best day and the biggest relief of my life. So that day was an absolute mixed roller coaster of emotions. She's still in hospital now, but she's doing really well. She's above schedule. She's a fighter. They've already said that. So she's like me. She's like her dad. And right now we're waiting for her to stop relying on being fed through tubes and properly latch on to Lauren and breastfeed. So she is doing it, but she's being lazy. She, after 5 minutes, won't want any more. And, because the doctors are relying on the tubes to feed her, that means we can't take her home just yet. So if she's not lazy, I'm hoping to have her home in a few days' time. And if she remains lazy, it could be a couple of weeks' time. So life has been pretty hectic. It's been a bit of a mad roller coaster, but we're getting on the end of it now, of that hiccup, if you like, that little hurdle. And I'm also at the stage where I've got my daughter here, and it's a feeling like no other. When I look at her eyes and she's looking at me, it's indescribable. It's probably the best feeling that you could get. So yeah, I've still been training, of course. I still make sure I come to the gym and at least get one session in a day, go and see her, go walk the dog. Pretty much been doing that the whole time. So yeah, that's been my life so far. However, you've also been very busy. I've seen you've just done hiked a mountain, have you, or whatever?
Yeah, no. So we did something called Hadrian's Wall. So basically, the story around that is a very good friend of mine, Andy Dunning. I work for a company called Lead Element Security, and we're a veteran-run security. We're all veterans, and me and Andy joined at the same time. And a year ago to the day on Thursday, just gone, on the 16th, he had a heart attack last year, and he's like 41. Just kind of came out of nowhere. We were watching.
Healthy guy, or?
Yeah, he's like average weight, average height. Do you know what I mean? Like probably drank a little bit more than he'd like to admit. Do you know what I mean? But he was always on the road. So he was always on the road, always looking after his guys. So he's like, listen, let's go out for a couple of drinks and all of this, and it was more like a social thing. It wasn't like he had a drinking problem. It was just
So it's an unexpected
because
heart attack.
because of the environment, he was just always out taking clients out, doing this, doing that, and obviously from there, a couple of glasses of wine and stuff. But all in all, fairly healthy guy. I mean, doesn't eat like shit, like. And then we were watching. So we have like a WhatsApp group, and we were watching Man City versus Real Madrid in the Champions League last year, and we were all texting, "Oh my god, what a game!" Blah blah. And then he just like dropped off. And I was like...
Just not replying?
Yeah, just not replying. And I was just like, oh, he's fucking rude. And then the next day, I got a call from my managing director, Tony. And he was like, call me, it's important. And I was like, okay, and called him. And he was like, oh, and he's had a heart attack. And I was like, fuck. Like, instantly, you go into, like, worst case scenario, and you're like, fuck, he's gone. And I was like, what? Like... And then he was like, he's fine, but, you know, and I was just like, fucking, should I led with that?
Because I've heard that some people can have a heart attack and not realise.
Yeah, so with him, I asked him about this, and I was like, so what did it feel like? So he said he could feel in his jaw, like his jaw was like hurt, like he was tensing his jaw, and obviously the whole left arm thing, he said like it felt like a sensation, but he said all of a sudden he was just getting really sweaty, felt sick.
So he didn't feel no chest pain?
Yeah, a bit of chest pain, but
nothing crazy.
But overall, yeah, he said the jaw was the main thing. So his wife Gemma, she was like, I'm fucking gonna call an ambulance. Like, this is not normal. Like, he was feeling sick, but he wasn't throwing up or anything. And she called an ambulance, and they were like, yeah, he's having a heart attack. Like, we'll send somebody within 90 minutes.
90,
yeah, hour and a half.
Going to open it.
And it was just like, no, like, I'm going to fucking throw him in a van and drive him to the hospital myself. And then just as they were getting into the van, ambulance turned up. So they threw him in there and they were like, yeah, you're having a heart attack.
Wow.
So they were like, wow. So they literally backed him into the operating theatre. And this is one thing I didn't know. So I thought when you're having a heart attack and they do anything, I thought they cut you open. But they don't. So what they do is they find a vein either in your leg or in your arm, and they'll feed a tube up there where they put the stent into the heart.
That's what Arla's got, something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, what? She's got a vein from her foot, and it was a cord going all the way up to her heart.
Yeah.
And
I was like, this is mad.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do it through the legs, so they had to do it through here, and they just fed it all the way up. And he said like they could see it on the screen. He was like awake whilst all of this is happening, right? And they're seeing it on the screen and everything. And then he said as soon as they got there into the chamber of the heart, the valve.
And he was watching this.
He's watching this, yeah.
Oh,
like just in. He said like it was the most painful thing he's ever been in. Right, this is a guy who's had.
So he was feeling it as well. There was no anaesthetic.
No, they literally backed him straight into the theatre.
Just
straight in,
things in his veins.
Yeah. This is a guy who's had a motorbike crash at quite a high speed. Like he's pretty much made of metal. Like he's felt every pain possible. He was like hands down the worst pain. And and he said as soon as they opened that stem to his heart, it was like something came over his body and just everything was gone. Like his jaw relaxed, all the pain went. Like it was instant.
So what did they do?
They put a stent into his heart. So
what's a stent?
So stent is basically like if you imagine your valve, like they were saying that his valve was clogged up, and what they do is they put the stent in and they open up the valve to make sure that blood comes through it again.
Yeah.
So, and I kept saying to him, I was just like, imagine being the first ever person to suggest, guys, how about we just cut open a vein, feed it through and then open it like. Imagine being the first ever person to suggest that. You'd be like, you're fucking nuts. But yeah, anyway, so that's what happened. And they said there was some problems with his cholesterol that blocked his artery or his valve or whatever, which turns out that this wasn't the case now.
Because I've got very high cholesterol apparently, which I think's, when I did the blood test, I thought, how? I'm an athlete. But apparently it's not necessarily anything to do with that. It can be hereditary. It can be through what you're eating. It could be whether you ate on the day of the test and stuff. So
well, this is the thing. So they were saying that it could be with him. It could be the enzymes. Like his enzymes don't break down his cholesterol properly. So yeah, but anyway, that's.
But he's okay.
He's fine. So he set out this challenge saying, "I want to walk Hadrian's Wall." Like sort of on the year anniversary of my heart attack. So I was like, whatever, like whatever you do, I'll do it with you, you know. And he was like, let's raise some money. So we did it for Veterans Aid charity. So on the 3rd of May, we drove up to Carlisle, and then we basically walked from one end of the country to the other, starting at Bowness on Solway, I think it's called, Bowness on Solway, all the way into Carlisle, and then all the way up to Newcastle.
How many miles in total?
So it's 84 miles, which is 137k it was. We did it over 6 days.
Tough terrain as well, right?
Yeah, it was just up and down. So you don't really see the wall. You don't see Hadrian's Wall. So for those that don't know, like Hadrian's Wall, the Romans came over, right? I think it was 2,000 years ago. They came over and built a wall to keep the jocks out. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they built a wall that was 15 foot high, 8 foot deep, lengthways. Then also built, what's it called? Like little dips before the wall. So the jocks would have to go into this dip, go over, and then climb a 15-foot wall if they wanted to come over. So
it's higher when you're actually in the...
Yeah. Like it was like a moat, almost like a moat sort of thing. But you don't really see the wall until you get past like Carlisle. So you don't really see it the whole way. On some of it, you're walking on top of it, so you're actually on top of the wall, but there's grass on top of it, so it's overgrown, or they filled it. So it was really good. But day number 3 for me was like my feet were really starting to hurt.
You put pictures up and you had blisters everywhere.
Yeah,
it was like try and find the bit of skin that hasn't got a blister.
It was day 3, and I was like, my feet were just. It was like the little toe against the ring toe. So it was a little toe, and it was my big toe, and they were just rubbing. So I was constantly trying to tape them up. But day number 3 was like my feet were just fucking mangled.
Yeah,
like
you can't rest, can you? You got to go.
Yeah. So and like there was like thoughts of like binning it, where I was like, fucking hell, like, do I really have to do this? But then it was like so a very close friend of mine, his son died 10 days before he was born. And I was texting him throughout this whole thing, and I was just constantly thinking like, if they can live with this pain like throughout their whole life, like I can just suffer for fucking 6 days.
100%. Similar thing with my daughter. She after the first couple of days, I came on the treadmill. And on my screensaver, like my wallpaper, I had the picture of her looking up at me with all these tubes going through her and stuff. And I was on the treadmill, and I can't remember whatever speed I was doing, but I was going hard for 20 minutes. And after about, I don't know, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, I was thinking, fuck, I might have to slow this down. And I literally just looked at her and thought, nah, how can I do that when she is going through what she's going through at 2 days old? And here's me being a pussy going, oh, shall I throw in the towel and go a bit slower? And it just gave me that little extra spur.
I was the same. Like, as soon as I was thinking of that, and, you know, my mate was texting me throughout all of this, and he was like, you know, you're doing well and all of that. And
puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just put it into perspective. I was like, you know, they have to live with that pain for the rest of their life. Like, I can just fucking grit my teeth and push on. And, you know, we finished it.
You don't regret it, do you?
No.
When I got off that treadmill, I was like, thank fuck I did that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'd got off, I would have been disappointed in myself. I would have probably come away thinking, you prick. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I would have never given up, but it was just having that thought in my head, just like there was like no way I was going to give up. So yeah, so we did that, and then we did it within like 27 hours, which was pretty quick. So we were hammering it, especially like the 3rd and 4th day, because it's up and down. And
so 6 day period, but the walking was in total
27 hours. Yeah. So 84 miles, 27 hours.
And what did you do in between? So when you went back, did you get pissed with the boys and have a good time? Did you just chill?
No, so it was literally just like get back, like shower straight away, because you're just minging, covered in mud. And then it was just like, just getting food on board, sorting the feet out, like. Most of the days, I had a nap straight away because I was just fucked. I was just tired.
How many calories did you burn? Did you track them?
Yeah, so I tracked them, and I burned, because of the size I am, I burnt like between 3,000 and 3,500 calories like per day, and that was about
6 days. Quick maths, here we go. 6, 12, 18.
So about 36,000.
36,000 calories.
Yeah. 30 to 36,000
I bet you was eating a lot of food to replace it, right? Did you get hungry?
I didn't.
No?
That was the weird thing, right? So we were snacking all day on like protein bars and, you know, like sweets and stuff. That's like one thing that we used to do in the army. We always used to keep like Haribos in some of our pouches.
Sometimes I do it when I'm weightlifting. A little bit of sugar here and
yeah,
there.
just like Haribos or Jelly Babies,
Quick
something like
sugars,
that. Just quick sugar snacks. So we was doing that, and then because I was thinking, oh fucking hell, I'm burning so many calories. Like I cannot eat whatever I want by the end of this because even if I consume 2,000 calories, I'm still like 1,000 calories in deficit plus my daily like thermodynamic expenditure.
Yeah.
Like my body probably burns about 2,500, if not more, throughout the day just to function.
Yeah.
Then the 3,000 calories on top. So I was like, fuck, I can get like a pizza or whatever. But I didn't. I just never felt hungry. But I think it's because we were eating a lot. Like we were smashing bananas. We'd eat like 2 or 3 bananas.
I guess you're
a
in the
day.
zone as well. You're not thinking about food. You're thinking about your feet falling off.
Yeah. So it was that. Bath helped a lot. Like I'm not usually a bath guy.
Bath or a bath?
Bath.
A bath.
Bath.
Is it bath or bath, guys? We're going to do a little poll for
It's
that.
bath.
'Cause I know someone else that says bath and it just doesn't sound right. Do you say Dubai or Dubai?
Dubai.
Yeah, right. So we agree on that one then.
What about grass?
Grass.
No.
Grass. Where you from?
So what about when you say like lass?
Lass, what does that mean? As in a girl?
A girl's version of lads.
Lass. Lass.
Yeah, but you don't say lass, do you?
Grass. Grass.
Grass. Lass.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. So, mate, good then. How much did you raise?
So far we've raised just over 4.5 grand, which is really good. So we're raising
How many
it
of
for
you was there doing it?
veterans.
5.
No, so there was 4 of us. So it was
4.
me, Andy, the guy that had a
grand
heart
each.
attack. A guy called Ross Sinclair. He travelled over from Malta. He lives over in Malta, and my mum came over as well.
What, to do it?
So yeah. Shout out
Your
to my
mum done it?
Like 58 years old.
What a trooper.
Yeah.
Who moaned more, you or her, about the feet?
Probably me. I'm quite vocal. I'm like, this is
So
fucking
your mum's
shit.
a trooper, she just...
Yeah, she just head down, carried on. I mean, she was like, she was pretty much like, got back, straight to bed.
Yeah.
Like I was still up, and then I carried on doing a bit of work here and there. I took my laptop with me, did some work, but yeah, she was pretty much just like straight into bed. Like the last sort of 2 days, she was a bit like, listen, my fucking feet are hurting.
Yeah.
And at that point, I got second wind. So on day 4, I got second wind. So day 3 was like my worst day. I was fucking...
Yeah.
I was like behind everyone. I was fucking bitching in there, like my fucking feet. Fuck this. This is fucking shit. I hate this. But just, head down. Like people they were like, oh, shall we have a break here? Let's take some pictures. And I'm just going to keep on walking.
Yeah.
Like, I was just in the zone, just walk one foot after the other.
Yeah.
And then day 4, I got second wind. So I woke up. I spent like an extra half an hour like taping my feet up, making sure everything was done properly, just prepared properly. And then, day 4, 5, and 6, I was fine. I was flying. And I think everyone else, apart from Ross, I mean, Ross is a fucking machine. Like he's ex-army as well. So he was in the same regiment as Andy, Royal Anglians. But he was like training for this. I'm talking fucking training. Like he was doing like 20K in the rocks of Malta, like every day. Pretty much, like getting up at 4:30. His missus is like, what's her name again? Is it Tiziana? I think we called her T. But anyway, like she would call up and like FaceTime, like, come on, you got this. But they were like training. They go up at like 4:30 every day.
Yeah.
They trained. You know what I mean?
Not
like,
for me that time, but...
Yeah, I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, the weekend, like 4:30, like we train and come home, like I'll do the ironing, she does the food prep for the week. Like they're a proper structured people, proper structure, proper regimented. Like, so yeah, he was fine. Like fitness wise, he was fine. His feet, I think, were fine as well, unless he just didn't tell us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last day Andy suffered and my mum suffered quite a bit as well. But I mean, my feet were fine. I ended up buying ibuprofen, so I was just like, swallowing ibuprofen, just keep on walking. But yeah, day 4, I got my second wind, and we just smashed it. Yeah, we were just
4
like
grand up.
Yeah,
So,
4
guys,
grand
if
up.
anyone wants to, the donation page is still up.
Yeah, so it's a Just Giving page, so that's still up now. And so what we did actually, we carried a Union flag with us. So we got the Union flag because we're all veterans, and we wrote down the names of people who have either passed away, or the names of the supporters that are donated. So we wrote them all on there, and we carried this Union flag on the back of our backpacks.
They were there with you almost.
So they were there with us, so we carried them the whole way. So, and what we want to do now is we want to get that union flag signed by as many celebrities as we can, and then what we want to do is like frame it and then auction it off and then raise more money for the cause. So the limit that we set for Veterans Aid was 10 grand.
Yeah.
We're just over 4 grand now. So yeah, we've got another six grand to go, 5 and a bit. Pardon me. Just over five. Like I think it's like 4,100 or something that we got.
There you have it, guys. If anyone wants the Union Jack that will be signed by a load of celebrities and veterans, all right, saying?
No, we won't sign it, so we won't have our names on it. It'll just be the supporters, and it'll be fallen veterans. So fallen soldiers will be on there, yeah. So, and it will say on there, where they died, which operation they died, you know. So it's, you know, it meant a lot to us, and you know, it means a lot to us for Veterans Aid as well, because there's so many veterans still struggling out there, you know, with mental health, with PTSD, with, you know, the wars that we've been to. No, like if we want the help, you have to go to a charity. Like, and I think that's crazy. Like the government sends you away to go and fight, and then when you get back and you're out, you know what I mean? I've been out 15 years now. But yeah, it's like if I wanted any help now, I can't go to the government. No. They'll just be like, oh, I'll go and see a charity. Yeah. And you have to ask for the public to raise money to help these people out. So as much as I hate it, it's a necessary evil that we have to raise.
Well done for you, mate, doing it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, not everyone's doing these things. So, and to the guys, obviously, and your mum. You know, well done to your mum getting in there.
I can't believe she did it. I thought she was joking at first, but she's like, I booked time off. Like, I'm going to fly over. She's from Germany as well. So yeah, I was like, are you sure you can? And she's like, yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah. And she was like, she kept up for the whole way. You know what I mean? She never fell behind or anything. Like, yeah, we started together. We all finished together. It was good. It was an experience for sure. But next year we want to do another one. I don't know if you want to join us,
mate. Count me in. If I've not got a fight booked, obviously you asked me to do it before, but obviously with the daughter situation, she was born on April 29th. When did you go?
May 3rd. We started.
Yeah. So I think the wife would have been a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus Arla, you know, imagine if my daughter saying, oh, you was in hospital, and I went for a big hike. 6 days it took me, so I left you, do you know what I mean?
So next year what we want to do is we want to go to Normandy Beach, the Normandy beaches, and we want to start at, so obviously D-Day happened, 6th of June 1944, the big invasion of the Americans, the English Canadians, and that into France to push the Germans back. So they had 4 objectives. There was like Utah, Omaha, Sword, and I can't remember what the third one was. But basically, we want to start at Utah and then walk the whole beaches all the way up to the final objective, which is Beach Sword. So that's where Beach Sword was where the English came in and conquered. So that's what we want to do. I think it's just over 100K.
Yep.
So we'll probably take like 3-4 days to do it or something. But again, we want to do something similar where we want to maybe set a certain challenge for it. Do you know what I mean? Like whether we carry, I don't know, say for example, like we carry like a dummy or something like that, and then try and
you do it barefoot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we wanted to make it a challenge, but
do it naked.
Nobody wants to see this body naked. But yeah, so we want to do that. But the thing is, in recent times with challenges, it seems a bit like we haven't done enough since I've watched this guy. Did you see that guy who did the run across Africa?
Yeah.
How mad is that?
So that's what you got to think. When you think you're doing what you did was hard, just think of that. And I've listened to his podcast with Stephen Bartlett. Have you listened to it?
I haven't listened to it.
And it's crazy, the story, you know. He was getting people trying to rob him. Well, people did rob him.
I heard about that,
You know, obviously when he passed South Africa, that was rough. Yeah, the guys must be a bit tapped in the head because why would you want to do that? But
I watched like his last episode that he uploaded to his YouTube channel, which was like, I'll run the end. And it was the last couple of days leading up to the finish. And I mean, fair play to him because he just looked fucked. Like he looked like he was done. Like he just
I thought about this with Ross Edgley when he swam across UK or England or whatever it was. It was one of those challenges where you just think, why? You know, like what makes you want to do that? But then I think to myself,
it's so extreme, isn't it?
I wonder how much of it is. So now that guy that just done the walk across Africa, he's famous. You know, he's now become officially famous. He's I don't know how the ins and outs of it will work, but I imagine that he's got sponsorship opportunity. I imagine now that people are going to come along and say, right, what's next? You know, you've done Africa, now we do this. And in a way, it's like he's set up a career.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that would be in his head now. Because I think a lot of people, if you said, look, walk across Africa, it's going to be hard, of course, or Ross Edgley, swim across England, but when you're done, you're going to be a celebrity. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have to work in Tesco's or whatever you're doing. You've got to grind for a year. But you can never guarantee it. But if someone, because I think the guy that done the Africa one, he apparently had done a lot before. He
did. I think
Asia.
he did like Asia to England or something, didn't he?
Yeah. So, but then I did think to myself, I thought, do you know what? Like, that's a clever setup. If you know that if you're just persistent enough and you can walk across Africa and you knew that you would get fame and you knew that you'd get money, would you do it?
I don't know.
You know,
it depends what you're doing it for. Because the thing is, I don't know his background, so I don't really know that much about him. But I don't know what he did it for. What
he was a little bit lost, I think, from what I've taken from his podcast. You know, he was having a bit of drama with his family. You know, from the age of like, I think he was 15 or 16, he moved out. You know, he wasn't really doing anything with his life. You know, he was gambling, he was fucking around, that sort of thing. And then I think one day he said that, I think he went for a run with his friend or something, and his friend said, let's do a marathon. And it kind of just escalated. And then I think he came to the day where he's like, how can I make this like a living? How can I do this for an actual thing?
Yeah.
And then obviously he got sponsorships for the Africa stuff because, you know, you can't just do it. You can't do it and not survive. So obviously he had sponsors that backed him and, you know, gave him enough money to get through it, if you like. But yeah, you know, tough shit to do that, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be a hard graft. So fair play to him. For me, I don't think I could be away from my family that long. That's where I would, you know, physically, I'll be fine. I wouldn't be fine, obviously, but I mean,
well, you grind through it.
I'll do it. I know I could do it. Do you know what I mean? I know in my head I could do that. Physically, mentally, being away from my family that long, you know, I don't think I could do that at all.
Yeah,
out of choice as well, knowing that, you know, you're going to be away from them I think he done it in a year.
I think it was just under a year. I think he did just under 400 marathons. Yeah. And I think he did it just under a year. So he did like a couple of days where he did like a couple of marathons and that.
And I just think, imagine just when you're sitting there chilling and just thinking, why am I doing this, man? You know, that's probably where it gets hard. But fair play to him. You know, he's done it. So, made history.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was crazy. But anyway, let's move on. We have some. We actually have some questions that were sent in by the Academy members. So for those that don't know, we actually run a Discord channel on the not on the Academy itself. We run it via Discord, obviously. But basically, we have loads of different subcategories in there. You know what I mean? I'll stick something in there so you can see what it looks like. You know what I mean? There's general chat. There's like fight night talk, predictions. There's like updated pictures.
Just general stuff as well. Big shout out to Charlie Luton. I think that's how you say his name. He's a 16-year-old lad, and he does, what's the name? Heavy death metal vocalist or something.
Yeah, he's like a heavy metal vocalist.
Where it's really like from the throat, like, you know, screams. Yeah. But he was actually on Britain's Got Talent last night. So shout out to him. He's a very, very nice kid. So, you know, he did get buzzed. They didn't like it. But
each to their own. But
each to their own. I know a lot of people.
I enjoyed it.
But the nice thing is, guys, you know, he put his stuff up in the Discord, and everyone's sharing it. Everyone's wishing him well. So, you know, we've created a community, if you like. You know, if people come in and put their podcast in there, everyone backs it. So, if you are an Academy member and you're not yet on the Discord, make sure to join up, meet the people that are on there, and we got
all sorts of characters in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's people in there. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I don't know. There's just such a variety of people in there, and you know, when Fight Night does sort of pop off, when everyone's watching it at the same time, obviously the bigger disadvantage we have in England is that cards are on like at 3 a.m. Some people watch it live, some people don't. Like I tend to watch it Sunday mornings, like after I get up, like I have breakfast and watch a card. But yeah, when there's like a big card and things are popping off in there, it is good. But yeah, so basically we took some questions from there. Obviously the number one question is UFC Manchester, UFC 304.
UFC Manchester.
Daniel Pineda is
Yep.
getting pieced up that night.
Yes, that is the plan. I'm planning on taking out a lot of frustration on him. You know,
How did that all come about?
So let's rewind. You know, my last fight, very frustrating. You know, come away with that with a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. Then the UFC offered me something, unfortunately, a little bit too close to my daughter's birthday. So I just said, look, guys, you know, put me on hold until she's born, until I know that she's back healthy. So she's here now. She's healthy. I know the situation. You know, I know what's going on. So the plan is now to get a fight. I need to be close to home. You know, I can't be in Vegas when my daughter's got a bit of a situation going on at the moment. And where better to fight than Manchester? So,
New arena as well. It's not even open yet.
23,500 people, I believe.
Bigger than the O2.
Bigger than the O2. You know, I'm undefeated in the UFC when I'm fighting in England. So, yeah, I'm everything's behind me for that fight. I've got Daniel Pineda, who's a veteran. You know, he's been around the block. Very good guy. I've got a lot of respect for him. You know, he's very well-rounded. He fought Mike Brown, I think, in UFC 150.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah. Old school, mate. He then eventually got cut from the UFC, I think, went to Bellator, PFL, back to the UFC. I think his last fight... No, I'm not sure his last fight was, but he fought Cub Swanson, he fought Alex Casares. So, you know, great opponent for me. He is a well-rounded guy, but I am planning to knock him out. I'm planning to go in there and really try and put a show on, put a performance on, and come back with a nice bonus for my daughter.
Nice. And, so he's 38.
Yep.
So his last couple of... So Alex Caceres beat him. Obviously, you just beat
Decision.
Alex Caceres grappling.
Yep.
Took a loads. Andre Fili, no contest, accidental eye poke. Obviously, you beat Andre Fili.
So it's good. I'll never look past anyone. You know, obviously, he's getting on a little bit, but that also makes him dangerous. You know, that means he's very experienced. You know, I can't imagine that he's dealing with nerves, if you like. You know, he's been there, got the T-shirt. And now it's about coming in and, for him, I guess, proving that he's still got what it takes. You know, he's the same age as Edson Barbosa. And it's down to me to turn around and say, no, you know, I'm not going to let you come into my country and take from, you know, now my daughter's, you know, I've got to put food on the table for her. So, you know, it feels nice saying that. And, yeah, even as I say, the last fight, you know, I've come away with a lot of frustration from it. So... yeah, if you like, when I'm training, I'm pissed off. You know, and when I'm pissed off, I train better. So, you know, I'm going to keep that for the next 10 weeks and go in there and I'm going to smash it.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you've ever had 2 losses in a row, right?
No, never had 2 losses in a row.
So obviously because the thing is, I always speak with, so my boss, Tony and I always talk about this, that you've never really had a convincing loss.
Never.
The John Dodson loss was...
I've never been in a fight with someone and it's been like, oh, that guy shouldn't have been in there with him.
Yeah.
You know, it's never been like that.
The Casey Kenny was obviously...
Yeah. John Dodson, it was like, okay, of course he caught me, but he wasn't smashing me. Do you know what I mean? As far as I was concerned, it was one apiece.
It's not like you got up and you were wobbling all over the place going, where the fuck am I?
Couple of times before I got into the UFC, it was, you know, winning the fight, got caught in submission. I had the Alan Philpott one where it was... bit controversial, but I got my nose broken in the first round. Third round, they actually said, oh, we're stopping the fight now. And he was like, guys, what the fuck? You know, how are you going to stop the fight? I've just fought 2 rounds with it. So now you're going to take it from me at the last minute. But, you know, that was fighting the Irish kid in Ireland. So, you know, but yeah.
Losses are losses, but like I said, I don't think you've ever lost convincingly. Not in my eyes. It's probably is biased.
And in that last fight, you know, it was... come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, you guys would have seen it. The Mohamed Namor fight was... I'm put it this way, I'm definitely going to get that rematch with him someday. You know, I'm not going to let that one slide.
You know, funny actually, I'm not going to say who it was, but I was selling some Thai pads and there was a guy on eBay that bought them off me. And he was like, oh, whereabouts can I get that? I was like, I can take him to work. If it's easier for you to get into the city, I work in the city. And he's like, cool, I'll come and get him. And it was a ref. It was a referee. A very well-known UFC referee, and I was just like, oh, like I didn't think it was going to be you. So we sat down and we like exchanged details because he paid me for it via bank transfer and that. And I was just like, oh, anyway, like I do a bit of work with Nathaniel and stuff and blah blah blah. And like the first thing he said was like, that fight should have, like he's like, how that ref did not deduct any points or do anything.
Yeah.
It was like it was poor performance. And I asked him about the process of how it works, and he said, well, the UFC pretty much never really tend to overturn those things. He says, so what happens is after the fight, the referee writes up a report of how the fight went and the decisions that they made, and then it kind of gets submitted to the UFC or to the commission, and then they look at it. But he said it's pretty much whatever decisions made in the ring or in the octagon is usually what sticks. So
the problem is for me is I appealed it, but in a way I'm appealing the ref.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I'm saying, look, I'm not happy that the ref had allowed in total 5
infringements
that potentially affected the fight. You know, there was none of the mistakes didn't cause any issues. 2 groin shots, which put me down. 2 times he grabbed the fence. 1 being when I was about to drag him to the floor. So
it was a broomstick, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's changed the motion of the fight. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't actually really notice that until I watched it back. I couldn't really see. So I was sitting there thinking, God, he's so strong. And I was thinking, how's he this strong? Didn't know he's fucking holding on to the fence. And then obviously the last bit when he grabbed the inside of the gloves, which was that could have been the end of a fight.
That was a fight in sequence.
I literally was pounding his head. Now I went to go hit him with the other one, and I remember just thinking, boss, why is my arm not working? Now let's say, you know, you might have got 2 shots in. That could have been the end of the fight.
Yeah.
May or not, he may have survived it, who knows? But because of what he'd done, that stopped that, to the point the refs even put his hand in and said, get off the glove. So the refs actually intervened the fight. So that's 5 times now the ref has penalised him, but not given him any actual punishment. Obviously, if he had beaten me a 30-27, I wouldn't have moaned, because even if he deducted a point, it weren't going to change nothing.
I thought it was a good fight.
But if he had deducted a point, that was it. That would have been the draw.
I mean, even with that, you could have argued that you won the fight.
I would have, with a point deduction, I would have said I won the fight.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
I would have said it was 2 rounds to 1. There was the first round. Was it the first round? I can't even remember now. There was 1 round that was clearly his. 3rd round, clearly mine, where I absolutely smashed him to pieces. And then it was, I can't remember.
The second round
it was a round, it was a bit
yeah.
50-50. You know, he did take me down, so fair enough. It would be one of those where you could, if you said it was his, I'd be like, all right, fair enough. But, you know, you could argue that it was mine. So we will never know. But I will.
It is what it is. It's in the past now.
And when we get
like
a rematch,
I said, it's
I'm not
you've never
judges.
lost 2 on the bounce, never lost on
That's
home
it.
soil. So there should be a good fight. I mean, Co-op Arena is going to be huge as well. Then we've obviously got Leon Edwards. Love Leon, you know, fighting Bilal Muhammad 2 after the first one when he.
Who's main event? Him or Tom? Him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, because Tom's the interim title, which is weird because Tom and Curtis Blades are fighting for an interim title that Tom already has an interim title for.
Yeah.
Like, and this whole rigmarole with John Jones and Stipe, and like, there's just so much going on. It's if I'm being honest, like me personally, I'm getting bored of it.
I was just about to say that.
I'm just like, this
Yeah.
John Jones Stipe fight is probably, there was a stat.
Let us know when it's a done deal.
Yeah, like, but there was a stat the other day that said that the last time Stipe fought, Tom Aspinall hadn't even had a fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like, this is how long he's been out, and obviously John Jones won the title, was it a year ago or 2 years ago against Cyril Gane? And yeah, just kind of pushing that whole, like, yeah, I'm fucking bored of it now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to see the fight, but I don't want to see it as a title fight. I would rather see John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, because I think Tom Aspinall's the biggest threat. I think John Jones, if he loses against Tom Aspinall, maybe a year from now, he'll say, well, I'm too old now. I am too old, you know. So it's kind of, we're getting away from that, and we're getting into this realm of excuses, because we know that John Jones has a...
Maybe John Jones is looking at it as a fight Stipe, then Tom Aspinall next. If he fights Tom Aspinall, beats Tom Aspinall, who's next for John Jones?
Well, there's nobody, yeah.
That's what I mean. So maybe he's looking at it as, I've got 2 fights lined up now. You know, I fight Stipe, and let's be honest, John Jones is probably looking at it as
that's a good
easy
point.
fight for me. Get paid. Then I've got Tom Aspinall, which is a tough fight. Get paid again.
Yeah.
So,
Then we've got Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett.
yeah. Arnold Allen versus Giga.
Yeah, Giga Chikadze. And
Nathaniel
you've
Wood
got...
versus Daniel Panaheda. The main event, the people's main event.
Yeah. And then we've got Mohamed Mokaev versus... what's his name? It's a Portuguese guy. That should be a good fight as well. But I mean, what a card already, and we haven't even touched on other
Molly
people that
obviously will
might
be fighting, I imagine.
Sorry,
Molly, I think, will be fighting.
I imagine
got,
so. Yeah, she's on the
Sam
run again now as
Peterson.
well since she's moved down to flyweight. I think it is. Or
It'll
is
be
it
a good
strawweight?
card.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the best time, but I imagine that I'll be quite early on, so that's all right for me. You know, I can fight at 12, 1 a.m., but I don't think I'd want to be the main event fighting at 4, 5 a.m.
What do you think that's going to be like? Would you imagine if you was a main event
I can
fighting at like
imagine
5
the
in the
crowd
morning?
just being like this. You know, hopefully, what I would do if I was a fan is I would have a good nap in the day, arrive at the venue at 11 o'clock like I did when I was 18 going clubbing, and I would just get drunk, have a good night, and stay there till 5 a.m., do the walk of shame back home, and that's a good night. But if some people are travelling to Manchester and they don't nap in the day, can you
So
imagine
this is what we're doing. We're actually travelling up on the Thursday.
Yep.
So we get there on the Thursday.
Weigh-ins.
Probably see you. Then we've got the weigh-ins Friday morning. Then the weigh-ins Friday night.
Yeah.
The ceremonial weigh-in. So we'll come for that, and then we'll probably go out Friday night. Go out till early hours. Get the clock
Acclimatised.
changed. Get acclimatized. Then sleep till like 3, 4 in the afternoon. Get up, have some food, maybe have another nap. If not, we'll just go to the arena at like bang on.
Well, hopefully
11
the
or whatever.
fights are exciting, because it'll be hard imagine having a 4 a.m. fight that's boring.
Well, so this is a question that I put on Instagram the other day, saying, is this going to be the greatest card ever? Because they're building a very good card. But the card, unfortunately, you didn't fight on that card, but it was...
Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman.
No, Tom Aspinall versus Alexander Volkov, where Paddy fought...
Yeah, and they gave everyone a bonus.
They gave everyone a bonus. Like, that night, that was...
Yeah.
Where was I sitting? I was like halfway up, like just off the floor, and it was just like the atmosphere was bouncing. There were finishers left. I think there was like 8 or 9 finishers that night. Like, it was just, I think it would be hard to beat that because the atmosphere was really good. There was a lot of Scousers, which was, you know what I mean? It was a bit much. And there was a lot of casual fans as well, where they're like, yeah, people were just sitting there and just going, yeah. Like, this guy needs to do this, you know, like a lot of them.
What I'm talking about, bro. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like when you go to BKB. Like, when you go to BKB, everyone's a boxing expert or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty much just like that. But in terms of the atmosphere and the night itself, it'll be tough to beat that. So hopefully Manchester will do that, because I think Leon could easily finish Bilal. I think Aspinall could finish Curtis Blades. I think Bobby Green or Paddy could be a finish. I think yours is going to be a finish. I think Mohammed Mukayev, he's going to go for the finish because he had an odd last fight.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen, I think he's the same. He's just come off of a loss. I think he'll want to finish. So I think it's going to be a night where it's just either super exciting fights, everyone's going for the finish, or they're going to finish them. So it's going to be a weird one. But anyway, so that's question number 1 out of the way. So the next one we have is people asking more about traditional martial arts. So somebody asked about Taekwondo on the Prospect Academy.
What is in? Do we want to have it?
Yeah, like, should we have Taekwondo in the academy?
Hell no. I'm joking. No, to be honest, guys, the Prospect Academy has started as all of my coaches. Okay, so you've got my whole team base there. Now, we've also introduced Lisa Zimmo, who isn't my coach. We have brought her on board as a female coach, because I know that not every girl out there wants to necessarily watch me do coaching, or Brad, or, you know, she might want a female. So we've brought Lisa in, guys, as the first female coach on the Prospect Academy. So there's no reason why. If people want to see Taekwondo, let's get it. You know, if we think that can benefit you guys, that's what we want to do at the end of the day. We want to provide a service that's going to teach martial arts to people around the whole entire world. You know, we believe everyone should know martial arts. Not everyone's in a position to learn martial arts. So that's where the academy comes in. And hopefully, if we can, I don't actually know. I do know one guy, a black belt at Taekwondo, but if we can get someone on board and that's something that the people want, 100% we can do that. You know, we can bring anyone on board. We're definitely going to be doing guest fighters. You know, I want to try and get John Haggerty, people like that who are very, you know, in that. He's a striker, phenomenal, best on the planet, if you like. I want to bring people like that on board, you know, as a treat for people. So, you know, obviously, guys, it's only the price of a London coffee. So every penny you put into it, we're putting back into the business. And if Taekwondo is something that people want to see, or karate, or whatever it is, we can make it happen. So just let us know your thoughts in the Discord, and we will try and, keep up your needs.
For sure. I mean, the thing is, even though it's a mixed martial arts platform, it's still a martial arts platform, because you always get people that are like, oh yeah, but this martial art isn't suitable for self-defense and this isn't that. But I always say to people, purpose, exactly, right? Yeah. So every martial arts has its place. Like, even though karate, if you stick a karate guy up against an MMA guy, I would argue that the MMA guy is probably going to win 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. But that doesn't mean that karate doesn't teach you discipline, doesn't teach you how your body functions, you know what I mean, flexibility of how to do things.
Well, the idea, I guess, of mixed martial arts is if you can have, okay, let's say the Kyokushin karate kick, and then you can have the Muay Thai leg kick, the hands of a boxer, the takedowns of a wrestler or a judo expert, the grappling of a jiu-jitsu, you've got the complete package.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants the complete package, guys. So Taekwondo is not going to be any good for you whatsoever if you're going if you're competing in jiu-jitsu. It's a complete different martial arts. If you want to learn for the street, unfortunately, you need to learn pretty much a wide base, which is why MMA is the mixed martial arts, and as far as I'm concerned, the best form of self-defense. Jiu-jitsu is a great form of self-defense, but it's not if you're going up against 3 guys. You're on the floor putting someone in a triangle and his mate come and kicks you in the back of the head.
Trying to ankle pick someone.
Yeah, or, street fights obviously are going to completely change things, or your form of self-defense, but as far as I'm concerned, it's better to learn something than nothing, and everything has its purpose. So, we'll definitely introduce some new martial arts, I think, if that's something that people want to do.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when I first got into like martial arts, I must have been about, 7 or 8 or something like that. I could never do it. Like, my mum never let me. I don't know whether it was money or whatever, but she was always like, oh, you're going to use it for the wrong things. I feel like if you go to the right gym and with the right people, you're always going to learn the right way to conduct yourself. But a lot of the time, like, I think people don't do karate because they're like, oh, I'm going to go out and smash everybody that I see. They do it because they think it's cool.
But this is, I think, where it's down to the coaches to how do they teach this across to people.
Yeah.
So, of course, if I had a client come in and I go, right, I'm going to teach you how to knock someone out. If anyone down the road gives you, even if it looks at you funny, you knock them out. You could have someone coaching you all of the wrong things. Now, that's where I think the Academy can help people as well, is we've got someone, I won't mention names, and he's messaged saying that he trains in a jiu-jitsu gym, but he basically said they're awful. They have no care for his MMA career. MMA is what he wants to do. They don't give a shit. They want him to basically do jiu-jitsu, give him no time, no attention, anything like that. But that's the only thing that he has. So what I'd like to do is give him some direction, give him some heads up information. This is what I would recommend. Yes, it is benefiting you going to that gym, as that's the only one you've got, but you can still have us, my team, coach you. And the proof's in the pudding, guys. We've got, as far as I'm concerned, the best in the country. You just look at their resume, and it's all available for you now. Just all you need, I guess, is a laptop or a phone or an iPad, which I think 99% of the country will have.
Which brings us nicely into, we're actually working on an app at the moment, aren't we?
We are. So I don't know whether I should say too much. Andrew might be a bit upset, but yes, Andrew is in the process now, guys, of making the Prospect Academy an app, which, as far as I'm concerned, will be the first ever mixed martial arts tutorial-based app that you can get. Imagine like a OnlyFans, but for martial arts, So yeah, we've got some really exciting stuff in the pipeline. It's not a quick process by any means, but we are trying to make the service better for you guys. This, as I say, I've said it many times, the money we're getting off you is not going in back pocket and spending it on alcohol or whatever. It's going into the business. So everything we're getting at the moment, we're trying to put into this app. And if we can make it happen, I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be really beneficial for not just our members already, but the world. We give people a platform, an option. The amount of apps you've got on there which do not benefit you in any way whatsoever. It might be Flappy Bird.
Just money-making schemes.
Yeah, money-making
Get
schemes.
adverts on there.
You've got something here that's a life skill, so whether you buy it for your 12-year-old kid that's on their phone all day and they might learn something from it, or they might never watch it, it's worth a shot, guys, for the price. There's other fighters out there at the moment that are doing tutorial stuff that they're teaching, but it's just them teaching. It's not their actual team, and they're charging ridiculous money, you know. So you can tell that they just... It's clever, of course. Get as much money as you can off your name.
56 quid a month.
Yeah, but I don't think they're actually there to try and push martial arts as a skill set for life. I want to see the world learn how to defend themselves. I think people, if you're a bully and you learn self-defense and how martial arts conduct themselves, I think you'll no longer be a bully. If you're being bullied, I think the confidence that you'd get from martial arts will help you not get bullied. I think it should be introduced to schools. I think it should be introduced all around the world. Of course, if people don't want to do it and they have no interest whatsoever, no problem at all, but at least you can say we had the option in school. Do you know what I mean? Instead of learning Pythagoras
also
theorem,
breeds confidence.
Yeah, instead of learning Pythagoras theorem or something, you actually learn a skill that's going to benefit you in life. And the social skills.
And keep you fit and healthy.
Yeah, when you see the kids doing it, they're all interacting, they're socialising. There's no bullying going on the mats because we've got good coaches. You know, that would never happen. Imagine if you was teaching a class and you sort of keep getting bullied by someone else. It's not going to happen. You've got coaches there watching and overseeing everything. And, you know, I think Great Britain Top Team is the best gym in the country if you can make it. And if you can't, then I definitely think come onto the academy, get involved with our coaches. And, you know, if you really hate it and think it's a waste of money, I'll send you your money back for whatever it was. But, yeah, give it a go, guys. And see you there.
That's it. So another question that we have is best form of cardio for mixed martial arts.
Love making. A joke. No. Me personally, I think that if I'm an MMA fighter, the most specific thing is MMA sparring. That's where you're going to get the best form of cardio. If you haven't and you're going off your own, then I do think things like hill sprints, you know, also in a way like your CrossFit circuit style things. So you might have 10 burpees into battle ropes, into squat jumps, because it's all round. You know, MMA isn't just hands, it's everything. It can start on the floor, go striking, go wrestling, go into just moving and getting your breath back. So I think make it as mixed as possible, I think is best. Or something like an assault bike, you know, something that's got everything going in one.
So would you recommend if you was, say if I have terrible cardio, so say me for example, okay, I don't have great cardio. Say if I wanted to up it, would it be more beneficial for me to do, say like fartlekking for example, like as in doing sprints for 60 seconds, then walk for 2 minutes, get the heart rate back down? Or do you think it's better to keep your heart rate at an elevated rate for as long as possible?
It would all be in heart rate zones. So, for example, say yourself now, you say, Nath, I just want to lose some fat. That's all I want to do. I would say, right, Ben, I want you to go for long, slow runs. You know, I want you to go for an hour run with your heart rate at just a reasonable pace. You know, I don't want you getting crazy out of breath because you can't do that for an hour. You can't do that for 2 hours. Imagine you're going to run a marathon soon. I want you to be slow and consistent. Mm-hmm. If now you're like, I want to work my endurance, you know, I want to get fit, ready for a fight, something more specific, that's when I would then introduce the sprints, if you like, where it's short, fast, explosive, because a fight's not an hour long, it's 15 minutes. If it's just general health, I would say mix it up. I would say on a Monday, go for a long, slow run. If you haven't got a gym or you haven't got equipment, maybe on a Tuesday, go for a walk. On a Wednesday, let's do some hill sprints. Why not? Go to a hill, run up it as fast as you can, walk back down, repeat. Mix it up, I think, would be the most realistic way of just being all-rounded for your health. And in the same breath, you're not getting bored. Because I think a lot of people, what they do is they get the New Year's resolutions, they're on form for a month, a week, a day, whatever it is, and then they fall off because they're bored. That's why I think martial arts is good, because it keeps people fit whilst they're learning something, and it's good fun. But guys, just move, get moving. You know, if you want to lose weight, walk. If you can't, if you're too fit and walking's not good enough, run. You want to sprint. Just get that heart rate up, get working, and eat clean, obviously, or eat as clean as you can.
I mean, as somebody, for those that might not believe it, I used to be fit. Obviously did 60s in the army, and from there it was always like, what's the best form of cardio? Like, we always kind of went off like whichever one you enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Like if you enjoy getting your cardio off of playing football, like, okay, well, play football a little bit more then, or play football for a little, instead of doing a 60-minute game, you do a 90-minute game or whatever.
Swimming. I hate swimming, so I don't really swim.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so it's
swim.
the best form of cardio is the one that you enjoy the most. Like if you hate running, like I hate running, I hate it. I hated it in the army. I hated it whenever. Like I just never enjoyed running. So I just never did it. I only did it when I had to do it. You know, obviously in the army we have to go on runs. You know, we'll go on squad runs, and then from there we'll do like things called battle PT. You know what I mean? You're carrying casualties, you're carrying logs, you're carrying stretchers, things like that. But yeah, overall, just do the cardio that you enjoy the most. Like as long as you're doing something, exactly. Just get moving. We have another question here from the Academy, which is an age-old question, which is many questions that a lot of people wonder about, is the fastest way to lose weight. Lose weight / fat.
So, I'll try and keep this as clear as possible. This question annoys the hell out of me. Because weight loss, losing weight, doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. So that's why a lot of people are healthy who are a bit overweight, and you've got a lot of skinny people who aren't healthy. Now, the reason is, guys, what we will need to do, if you want to lose weight, calories. That's the only thing you need, okay? If I have McDonald's here, and it's 500 calories worth of McDonald's, and I have vegetables here, and it's 500 calories of vegetables, they are the same in regards to losing weight. However, of course, the vegetables will be more healthy. There will be more vitamins, minerals, nutrients, whatever. But if your goal is to lose weight, which doesn't mean that you're being healthy if you're losing weight, it's all in the calories. Now, let's say everyone wakes up and they burn calories. Everyone's different, but let's just say that a man is, I think, 2,000 calories.
2,500 for men, about 2,000 for women.
So in theory, I can wake up tomorrow, and if I eat 2,000 calories, I should remain the same because my body is burning 2,000 calories a day just by living. You know, my organs, everything is burning calories. So if I go and eat 2,000 calories tomorrow and I burn 1,000, technically that day I've only had 1,000 of calories going into me. You're going to lose weight. If you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. If you're in a calorie surplus, how would you say?
Surplus, yeah.
Surplus, then you will put on weight. Okay, that is it, guys. Now, obviously, I'm not saying go and eat McDonald's, go and eat chocolate, but just eat 2,000 calories of it. I would say if you only had 2,000 calories, have 1,500 of good food, you know, proteins, carbohydrates, fruit, veg, whatever you like, and have 500 calories for a snack. That might be a donut. That might be a packet of 500 crisps. I don't know, whatever it is. But guys, it's all about the calories. Now, as I say, just because you're eating healthy doesn't mean you're going to lose weight. I've had so many people say to me, Nath, I'm not losing any weight. And I'm like, I'm eating healthy. I'm like, well, what are you eating? Well, I had 5 avocados for breakfast and a handful of peanuts. And I'm like...
Super nutrient dense.
I think it's like 250 calories in an avocado. Something like that. Of course, it's good. It's healthy. But that's more than 2 slices of toast with a bit of chocolate spread on it. So you might have that avocado and think, what's going on? That's why you have fat vegans, right? Normally, vegans eat very healthy.
It's just calorie-dense food, isn't it? Like, I think an avocado is like... In fact...
But then, guys, this is what I want to say. Please do not think that because you're losing weight that means you're healthy. It doesn't. You know, as I say, I could have McDonald's and lose weight. It's just how much of it I have. And the idea is if you're losing weight, I imagine you want to be healthy. I imagine you want to live a long life. I imagine that you want to put on muscle. I imagine that you want to have a good running heart. And I can tell you now that if you're just eating McDonald's every day, that's not going to work. So calorie count, guys, and you don't need to be so specific. Just rough, you know. Unless, for me, obviously, I have to make weight for a certain reason, or I don't get paid if I don't make the weight. But for an average Joe, let's say yourself, Ben, I don't think you need to count calories. I think you just need to be sensible and go, okay, I've got an avocado, that's about 200. You know, MyFitnessPal, or Google it. Work out roughly what you're having and make sure that if you're cutting down, guys, you're going to lose weight. So, moral of the story, burn the calories or cut down on the calories, however you want to do it, but you just need to get rid of calories to lose weight.
I think also a lot of people, and I've been guilty of this in the past before, where you go, oh, like we talked about earlier with the walk, it's, I've done 3,000 calories today, so I can eat whatever I want. And like the one thing is like you can never really out train a bad diet. It's like you said, like if you're just having McDonald's, like it's been proven in the past before. There was a guy who lived on a diet of Skittles, I think.
Yeah.
He had like so many Skittles a day. I think there was another guy who did it with donuts. He had so many donuts a day and still lost. So the calories in versus calories out is definitely there. But I feel like it's, for me personally, when I was thinking, I've just done, I don't know, I did a Muay Thai session. I probably burnt like, I used to wear a heart monitor and everything. I just lost like 1,500 calories.
So you went and ate 2,000 calories.
So I would be like, I can afford to get a kebab on the way home. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's that, but it's also like the little choices that people don't think of is like having a cappuccino coffee, like, you know what I mean? That's going to be about a couple of 100 calories. Yeah. All of those add up. Or when people get like salads.
Chocolate digestives with the coffee, that's 400 calories.
Exactly. But then it's like, but I'm going to have a healthy lunch. I'm going to have a Caesar salad, cake it in oil.
It's the hidden calories.
It's the hidden calories. It's the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get this dressing, this Caesar dressing.
The thing that really bugs me is I've heard someone say, they're in the sauna. They say, I lose so much weight in the sauna. It's amazing. Like, I lost 2 kilos. Yeah. I'm like, but once you went and drank, you put that 2 kilos back on.
Water weight,
You haven't lost any weight. All you've done is sweated out some water weight. The same way that if I go and have a wee now, I'm going to lose half a kilo worth of piss. As soon as I drink, I'm going to go back on. If I go and drink a litre of water now, guys, and weigh myself, I've just put a kilo on. So the idea, surely, for an average Joe, you just want to lose fat. You don't want to lose muscle, which is why you want to keep your protein high. So that's where the nutritionists, I guess, will come involved, because you need to do it as healthily as possible. But yes, in theory, if you just want to lose weight, all you need to do is cut calories out and you will lose weight. Doesn't mean you're going to feel good. It doesn't mean you're going to look good.
Well, in fact, we talked about this with me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself a challenge of... So I'm roughly about 120 kilos now, which is however much in pounds, like 240 pounds or something. So I'm roughly 120 kilos now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself at the forefront of the academy and show people of how we could lose weight. I understand that I'm fat the way that I am because I know what I eat. It's not like I don't understand it. I understand what I eat. I understand what I do. I just don't really fucking want it. You know what I mean? I just can't be bothered.
Which is fine.
Fitness.
By the way, that is fine if people...
Yeah,
if it's not you and you don't want to have a six-pack, that's...
I don't sit there moaning all day going, oh, fucking hell, I wish I could be like... I fucking know I am the way that I've been super fit. I've been incredibly fit. And I've been this... And I'm just not bothered about either, really.
You'd rather have some food.
But now I'm getting to that stage where I'm like, I'm 37 now. Okay, I need to start really doing this for my health now. You know what I mean? There's no history of heart problems or anything in my family. So
I think mate just had a heart attack and he...
Yeah, exactly. But...
Don't jinx that, you know what I mean?
But at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, well... what if I want to have kids one day? What if I want to do that? Like, I want to start thinking, okay, maybe I should do this.
It's a good thing.
I've had my 15 years of fun, of drinking, of eating whatever.
But I tell you what it does do when you start cutting out calories and you start dieting. When you have that cheat meal on the Saturday, or you do have that biscuit, you will enjoy it. I can promise you that. I hated cutting to bantamweight. It was abysmal, and I'll never do it again. However, there was no feeling like that first binge meal that you have after that fight.
What would you have straight away? What's your go-to?
Everything.
Like sweet, like a savoury?
A calorie slut. That's what I was. I was just anything greasy,
calorie
dirty.
whore.
Yeah. Anything healthy, nah. But even when I was dieting, an apple would be like...
Sweet.
God, the taste of it,
So you got sweet tooth?
Yeah, but if you give me an apple now, I'm like... It's an apple. I don't appreciate it, and it's bad. That's how the world is now. We're so spoiled, and we're so lucky and fortunate that we literally can go, look, this is a 0-calorie one, but it's a Vimto. Like, he didn't have that 100 years ago or 200 years ago, whatever it was.
I can't remember what it's called,
spoiled.
but I think that is called. I think it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think it's called the beta paradox. It's basically, for example, when you're really hot, like today's a really hot day. If you're really hot, it's really difficult to imagine yourself being cold again. Yeah. Or if you're freezing cold, it's really difficult to imagine yourself being hot. It's like that now. It's like really difficult to imagine yourself, it's like killing for an apple.
Yeah. It's no different from if you're stuffed and someone goes, hey, Ben, and you're like, I'm so stuffed. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Cake,
yeah.
You're like, I couldn't think of anything worse.
But when you're starving...
Exactly, yeah. It's
you'd kill for cake.
You wouldn't want to go to sleep if you weren't tired. But when you're tired, all you want to do is sleep. So you know, the best thing is about dieting, even though it's hard, it's bittersweet, you know, it's catch-22 or whatever. It's when you are starving and you're like, you know, I could eat anything. Whatever you do get will taste, and you'll feel it. I remember having the first bit of carbs after my weigh-ins, and I could feel it running through my veins. Do you know what I mean? I could feel my body just transforming. And I think now the world is just too, you know. I had McDonald's the other day, I won't lie. Disgusting. Tasted of nothing.
You're a plant burger guy.
Actually, this time I got the chicken Big Mac. I ate the chips and thought, I need salt on these chips. Like, they weren't salty. I said to Lauren,
I could have
ate the box. I think the box would have had more flavour than that did. But I guarantee you, if I had that when I'm starving hungry, I would have been like, whoa,
kill someone for it. Anyway, we digress. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself at the forefront of the academy. By the end of the year...
Ben's our guinea pig, guys. So if he doesn't lose any weight...
I'm not doing it properly.
Don't join the academy.
But I'm going to be on the Discord. Okay, I'm going to be on the Discord. I will post every day of what I'm eating.
We'll be on you as well.
I will probably start
tonight.
I have a lot of stuff coming up. I have a lot of like things coming up. I would probably start round about mid-June. By the way, this is not going to be a thing where I'm like cutting everything out. I'm still going to have alcohol. I'm still going to have this.
Still have a life.
I will still have a life. It's just I will restrict myself to what it needs to be in order for me to
What's
lose
the goal
weight.
then? 120 kilos now.
I want to be in double figures, which I think is a big ask.
So what we'll do is we'll celebrate when you're 99 kilos.
Yeah. So
99
kilos.
And then if you want to go more, you go more.
Yeah.
But what we do is Ben has got 21 kilos to lose. We're not going to set a date.
Roughly, I still need to weigh myself, so don't quote me on that.
But
I will weigh myself. I will do it.
And we don't want it to be torturous. We want it to be comfortable. We want you to
just
enjoy the process. We want you to be doing shadow boxing, learning some skills instead of just sitting on a treadmill every day, all day. I want you messaging the nutritionists we've got on Discord. I want everything for you to be as comfortable and as enjoyable as possible. And then we can use Ben to show you guys what we're capable of doing for you.
Or if you're watching this already and you're thinking, fuck me, I'm overweight, I'm like Ben as well. Do it with me. Like, come on the Discord. We'll do it. We'll hold each other accountable. A lot of the time for me, it's just it's not accountability, but it's just, when I'm thinking, when I'm at night time, I'm like thinking, oh, I've had a good day. And I'll just think, oh, fuck it, I'll have
You need a team.
Snickers.
And that's what we've got at the academy. We've got a team of people, not just coaches. We've got average Joes, normal people that are doing the academy, that there to and say, nah, Ben, come on, we got this. Do you know what I mean? 1 more day, 2 more days, then you can have your cheat meal. And then you have your cheat meal, and it's right, let's get back on it. So,
let's do it all together if we can.
Yeah.
If you want to lose some weight, like, come in. Like, I'll do it with you. You can see I'm not exactly the skinniest guy in the world, okay? I know I'm not the fattest, but I'm not the skinniest.
Yeah.
But let's do it together, let's change our lives a little bit. Let's get a little bit healthier.
And guys,
there's no prerequisite to this either.
I think if you buy the subscription, it's cheaper. But if you pay for 1 month, I think it's $6.99. Maybe it might be $7.99. I don't do all the ins and outs. But guys, if you join and you literally join up and think, what a waste of time, I don't do it, I'll give you your money back. I will literally have my guy that runs it. I don't do it. He will send your money back, so you literally have nothing to lose. So there you go. There's nothing more that I can do than that. And
let's do it. But let's do it together. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's get fitter. Let's get healthier. You know what I mean?
Boom.
If you're fat and happy, like I pretty much am or was, then you're fat and happy.
But what if you can be healthy and happy?
Yeah, could do. But
if I said to you now, Ben, nothing's going to change, but you're going to lose 21 kilos, would you take it?
Yeah, probably.
And I said you'll still feel good.
Yeah.
You're going to feel shit.
Yeah, I reckon I would, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look a bit better, feel a bit better.
I would. If someone said to me, you can put on a bit of muscle, lose a bit of weight, I feel pretty good as I am, but I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. If I can grow an extra inch, of course I will. So,
grow an extra inch.
Be the best version of yourself, right? Why not?
So, but yeah, that's it. So, yeah, thank you very much today. It's just me and Nathaniel. We're going to try and get some more guests on as well, so we have a bit more back and forth. But overall, I felt like we had a good conversation.
Yeah.
But thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you at the next one. Bosh.